Alright. This is a 1983 Daihatsu Hijet. It is a K van from Japan that has been imported properly, federally with all the paperwork. Now has a clean Florida title. It is registered, it is insured, it is plated, it is completely legal to drive wherever you would like. Being a K-class vehicle in 1983, the current engine displacement limit was 550 cc. So there is a two-cylinder. Well, here, just open it up. Two-cylinder, four-stroke, liquid-cooled, carbureted engine. It probably makes around 25-30 horsepower or so. It runs great. It doesn't leak. It doesn't have any sort of issues whatsoever. I did have the radiator recored and remanufactured locally at a place called Sarasota Radiator. They still do it, so that's why it looks all nice. It also has 4 brand new tires. They're Yokohama's super vans. I mean, obviously they're not available in the United States, but you know. But yeah, it's a 4-speed manual transmission. Pretty much manual everything. It's manual brakes. This is the master cylinder. It's not power assisted, although it looks like there probably is or was an option for it. I couldn't tell you for sure. It does have manual choke as well, which is what this is explaining, which is right here. So generally, it hasn't been running, so it's totally cold, but usually what you do is you lift this up about 3 clicks, tap the gas a couple times, press and hold it, and then start it, and it usually starts right up. I'll show you the other side of the engine. So this is the other side. It also has a brand new air filter. Not that that's a terribly big thing. And here's a Sarasota Radiator thing. So yeah, it's rear-wheel drive. Engine sits underneath the front seats, which is what this lip is for. And there's 3 ways to get to it. There's that seat over there, this seat, and then there is a panel. If you clip up all these, you can see it. That's a way to get to things like the oil filter and just the back side of the engine, and then of course you can go underneath. But as far as the van itself, again, it has a verified 20,417 kilometers, which translates to about 12,500-ish miles. It's in phenomenal shape. Interior-wise, the floor has wear, and then this is like a fabric-y cardboard thing, so it's amazing that it even survives at all. But it's just this rear panel, and you know, everybody's feet hitting it. Otherwise, the steering wheel, dashboard, not cracked. Glove box, everything's functional. All the door panels. This is another thing too, the seat belts. I didn't clip this. There is no carpet in here of any kind, and then another aspect is the seat belts. There's no retracting mechanism. The belts just hang loose. So what you have is this plastic clip that holds it, but there is no ratcheting whatsoever. You just stick it in there and you tuck it. But yeah, the panels, everything's great. I don't believe that it's been smoked in. Somebody lit a cigarette at some point. AM radio works, of course, but it's a mono speaker, sticks up here. All the vents and everything works. Heat works. It runs cool. All the bulbs work. All the lights work. But yeah, there's no rust whatsoever on the body. It's clean. And again, if there's any doubt as to the claim to mileage on it, well, speaks for itself. What else? Well, like I said, it's rear-wheel drive. It's right-hand drive, of course, too. And yeah, it's just in phenomenal shape. So this must have been on the van the whole time. This is some sort of aftermarket protector. So the actual floor is flawless. If you want to look, the battery's under here. Lift it up and see the actual metal underneath. It's, again, in extremely good shape. Just lift this. There's the battery tray, which, of course, isn't rusted. It's a little grimy and dirty, but you know, no biggie. Whoops. And as far as options go, from what I can determine, they made a new version of this shortly after this, where they had a whole new model for the passenger-oriented versions of this. So this is a slightly embellished version of the commercial K-Class van. So, well, the seat pattern, that doesn't belong in a commercial vehicle at all. And it's, you know, pretty snazzy looking. Otherwise, the only option that I can determine, besides the paint color and the interior fabric, is the floor here. So the only other ones I've ever seen, not that this is some sort of rare option, I just don't know what the take was, the floor will be up top, so that the floor is down low for this, and you can see the wheel wells. This is a low floor version. And the other thing is that I think there was a high roof version. I don't believe this is it. This just looks normal. But as far as the interior goes, seat goes up, drop it, and there's this little hook that you stick to prevent it from going. Then you actually get quite a bit of room back here. The whole van is about 4.5, just over 4.5 feet wide, 10.5 feet long, and then probably, I don't know, 5 feet, 11 inches tall. Again, cosmetically, interior is fantastic. It's just, it was never used. Exterior wise, there are some blemishes. Again, no body damage, no rust, no rot, nothing. Not even beginnings of it. Like, it's a good shape. All the rubber is good. All the seals are good. No issue there. The struts hold the top up just fine. Anyway, cosmetically, whoever had this before used touch-up paint that didn't quite match. So you can see there was some sort of scratch here, and there's a dent. It's pressed in. There's another one here that they used an off color. I don't know if it'll show up, but and again, exterior-wise, there's some scratches, and there's 2 major dents. So the lesser dent is this one back here. Looks like it hit something, and there's a scrape. You can see right here. There's some of this sort of stuff, just a minor scratching. Again, nothing deep down to the metal, no rust, no anything. And there's this, and again, it looks like they just took color that didn't quite match and then just glommed it on, because you can feel this. Likewise, there's here, goes in slightly, and this is the worst of the cosmetic stuff. The front, all the plastics, the rubber seals and everything is good. The lenses are good. There's this too. I'm guessing this fell out at some point, so this is just glommed on. It does function and it does work. It's just ugly. And then this is the other dent right here. So this is just glommed on paint again. No rust, no rot, but you can see it right here. Other than that, there isn't anything. So the interior is almost completely flawless. The rubber, the lenses, the bulbs, everything works. And then yeah, just cosmetically, those are the issues. And the windows are these slide types, so you can slide it forward, backwards. Needless to say, this does not have air conditioning. And there's some other things too from the previous owner. A few stickers and things which I think are kind of neat. It's this, which says unleaded fuel only. It's a Daihatsu Hijet Super Deluxe, and I can't tell what that actually means. Listed capacity is 350 kilograms that this thing can haul around. It can certainly do more, but that's what they say. It's your fuel filler. It's lockable. Just keep it unlocked because who the hell cares? I mean, here's more of that glomming paint. So like they did it to protect whatever scratches they saw, but there's nothing underneath. You know what I mean? There's no rust, there's no anything. It's just poorly glommed on paint. And the roof, of course, perfect shape. There's another sticker. I got something to do with registration. I'm not exactly sure. If this was still in Japan, it would be road legal April 2018. They do it based on the year that the emperor started reigning. So the current emperor they have has been reigning for 30 years, or 29 I think, and then the 30th year of his reign, 4th month of that. That's what this represents. And then of course all the glass is good. There's a little OK Daihatsu sticker, which I think is nice. That's pretty much it for cosmetics. So let's take it for a drive. Alright, so let's go for a drive. Includes the original Daihatsu key, which is nice. And we're in my backyard, so I'm gonna have to do some maneuvering in order to get out. But again, this is really tiny. So personally, I wouldn't take this on the interstate, although you could. Top speed that she'll comfortably do is about 50-55 miles per hour, which ends up being around 80-85 kilometers an hour. It does have the alarm active, speed alarm, so if you go faster than it thinks you should go, it will warn you. Downside to these seat belts is having to readjust them all the time. There we go. Okay. So, clutch in, and then do it up about 3, couple pumps, press and hold. And like I said earlier, it does have a manual choke, and so it requires a little babying until it gets up to temperature. All right. Oh no. That's not good. And the space between here is 8 feet. To give you an idea of how thin this is. Being manual choke, you're in complete control of the idle speed. press. It is a linear force that you apply, and you get used to it real easily. And this whole van probably weighs 1,300 pounds, 1,350 maybe, fully loaded. So there's not much weight to it. And everybody loves this thing. Loves it. I mean, it's a extremely tiny, weird little van with round headlights, so naturally everybody's gonna love it. There's no RPM gauge, so if you can see down here, these dots, it's just above 20 kilometers an hour, and then 40, and then 60. Those are your shift indicators. So from here, you should be shifting to second, to third, and then to fourth. Being that it's a 4-speed, I'm in top gear. And then there's the yellow coloring right here, letting you know what speeds it thinks is too much. Like I said, it'll certainly do over 55 miles per hour, but I wouldn't want to be in it while I was doing that. For like a beach cruiser around town, it's perfect though. And as you can easily see, keeps up with traffic no problem. Hurricane Irma scraped by us. I'm in Sarasota, Florida. So we're still cleaning up, but we're mostly back to normal. There's this battery light up here that's glowing green. For some reason, if the battery is charging and working properly, that light is always green. It's kind of hard to see, but so you know, normally you get a battery indicator that's red, letting you know that your battery is not charging. This is opposite. You're the green one that's supposed to be on the whole time. Looks like we won't be going that way. Looks like this area still doesn't have power. Just saw a generator running. Ah! Dead end. For that. Like I said, it runs great, and Florida this time is not very cool. It's probably 95 degrees outside with 80% humidity. Runs perfectly, but again, the radiator's been remanufactured. It had a leak in it when I first got it. So this is as high as the temperature will go, midway. And it doesn't have an electric fan on it that does kick on via temperature sensor that does work. feeling. It's just the way that Daihatsus are, the Hijets anyway, are engineered. Let's see if they can get in through this way. Because you're sitting on the engine, there's not that much space to get to. Yeah, that's down there. Personally never driven a Volkswagen bus, but the Volkswagen guys tend to really like this, for obvious reasons. It's a weird small van. But I have to imagine this is somewhat similar. I would guess that this is a little nicer riding just because it's in 83, based off of the late 70s. But similar sort of type. Usually I have to look down in order to see the light. Be amazed at how often I'll lead off the line at stoplights in this. I mean, granted, that's just a Prius, but there'll be Maseratis and AMG Super Blacks and stuff sitting next to me. People don't understand the power they have, I guess. They're afraid to push their car. Whatever. This thing is extremely frugal on gas, of course. Stop straight. And yeah, there's few vehicles that are going to be as unique as this without being temperamental. If you had an old Ferrari or something, they tend to be temperamental. This, not at all. This is a work vehicle. Extremely practical, extremely simple. And it's eager to work. Sarasota is a very, well, it's a nice place, but there's beaches and keys, and there's this undercurrent trying to be some sort of, like, you know, relaxed beach town. Something like this fits perfectly within it. demonstration of how you can drive something like this. And it's just a pretty drive anyway. I don't know, I said this already, but this doesn't burn oil, doesn't leak, doesn't do anything it's not supposed to do. It runs, idles, cool. I mean, you can hear it, it's fine. It does get a little warm because I'm sitting right on top of the engine, and well, it's not separated. I'm sitting on a seat that has a panel that's right above the engine, and the engine doesn't make a lot of heat, but the heat that it does make comes up right through. You can feel it right here. The seats being as nice as they are is almost unheard of, especially for the driver's side. Usually on any import, this will be worn from constantly coming in and out, and usually there's some sort of split that you can see the foam, but it's just taken care of. And I can't even begin to imagine why, because there was nothing special about it. I'll see if I can get the alarm to fire. Speed alarm. Should be real soon. There it goes. So it'll do the speed. You can hear the engine. We're about topped out. So I'm going to slow down. There it goes. It's about 85 kilometers. If you go over that, that alarm will sound. I haven't looked into it, but I've been told that it's extremely easy to deal with. My daily driver is a 1990 Honda Active, which doesn't have that alarm. But as you can see, the grade we just went up, I couldn't tell you what it is. No problem. While these things aren't that powerful, they've got a lot of torque for their size. Taking out a lot of these trees. It's like a broken water main. But I wouldn't hesitate to drive this anywhere. The biggest concern for me would be, well, it's hot. And also the roads I would drive it on. Because like I said, I would not take this on the interstate, although it will, and you'll be fine as long as you stay off to the right. It's just not something I would like to do. There's plenty of back roads to get places anyway, and it's fine on those. towing this either way because your steering column is between the brake and the clutch. So down here, you can't even easily see it. You can see that one. That black plastic vent, that is just an outlet for air that comes in behind the headlights. And like a ball cooler. It helps a lot with the heat because it is pretty warm right now, but people from out of town don't know that this is not a stop sign. Stop for pedestrians. crazy speed disadvantage. I mean, you lose every race that anybody ever challenges you to, but in everyday driving, nobody does that. Still running cool. The van is. I'm quite warm. The horn works too. drive around in this Daihatsu. It's pleasant, it's nice, everybody loves it. It's completely unique, and it won't let you down.